Okay guys, here we go with video number 5 for our unit circle project. And now we're looking at the multiples of 30 degrees around the unit circle. Okay, so last video, looking at the multiples of 60, which are our green lines here, we looked at this special triangle, just dropped it, this special triangle where this is 60 degrees, okay, and this is 90. Therefore, this one up here must be 30, which means if we take this exact same triangle, but turn it this way, this is now 30 degrees inside here, 90 degrees here, and 60 up here. All right, so I'm going to use purple this time, purple, and put those marks on our unit circle. So from this, that would bring us out to here. Use symmetry to find the other places around the unit circle here. Flip it down, and we have here, and flip it back over. So originally here, flip it down if you want, and brings us to here for those ordered pairs. All right, let's add our positions on there with our ruler. Our purple angles right through the origin over to the other side. Same thing here. And there we go. Okay, so these are our multiples of 30 degrees. You'll notice that the 60s also fall into play with multiples of 30 because we'll have 30 more is 60, and 30 more is 90. So the black axes also fall into play there. 30 more, 120, 30 more, 150, 30 more, 80, and so on all the way around the circle. Okay, now let's take a look at that special triangle again from last video with the 60 degrees here. So our green places. We figured out using right-angled trig that these were the dimensions of that triangle. Now if we take that triangle and flip it over this way, we have 30 degrees here. This side over here will now be a length of 1/2. This side √3/2, and the hypotenuse is still 1. So that means we now know each of these ordered pairs on our unit circle again. All right, so first triangle right there, the x direction, √3/2, y direction, 1/2. Symmetrical across the y-axis, x direction, same length, but in the negative direction, so negative √3/2, and the y height is exactly the same over here, 1/2. Coming down here, both ordered pair, both x coordinate and y coordinate will be negative, so negative √3/2, negative 1/2. And back over here, the longer side going in the positive x direction, so √3/2, and down 1/2, so negative 1/2 in the y direction. And there's all of your special places with the ordered pairs on your unit circle. Now we need to add the angles in degrees and radians both. So first one, this is 30 degrees or pi/6 radians. Okay, and that would be, next 30 is here, next 30 here, next 30 here. So this would be we already have that one, that's the green, 120 to pi/3. Next 30, here at purple, 150 degrees or how many pi's over 6 here? 1 pi/6, 2 pi/6, 3 pi/6, 4 pi/6, 5 pi/6. Okay, 6 pi/6, which is pi, 7 pi/6. Or how many degrees? 180 plus 30 more, so 210. 7 pi/6, 8 pi/6, 9 pi/6, 10 pi/6, 11 pi/6. Or 330 degrees. Your unit circle is now complete. This is the complete unit circle. Now notice that each of these places on your unit circle, each place is named at least 4 names. Okay, so let's take this new purple one that we just drew on here now. It has 4 names, basically. That position on the unit circle, we have to remember the x-coordinate is -√3/2, the y-coordinate is 1/2. We also have to remember the angle in degrees is 150, the angle in radians is 5π/6. Okay, this helps us then be able to do certain calculations without using a calculator. So any of these angles, we can find the cosine of any of these angles without using a calculator. We can also find the sine of any of these angles without using a calculator. So for example, if we said, what is the sine of 11π/6? So you would think of your unit circle, think about which quadrant that is in, think about what multiple it is of. So 11π/6 is a multiple of π/6. So you know that it goes all the way around counting 11π/6. Here's the position. We're talking about sine, so that means the y coordinate of that spot on the unit circle. Y coordinate is -1/2. So if you poke in your calculator in radian mode, the sine of 11π/6 and press equals, your answer will be -0.5. There we have it, your own personal calculator that you'll have in your head. And these are the only angles you'll be asked to do without using a calculator. Okay, so next year, this is going to be super important to be able to have this memorized. The most important thing though is understanding all the relationships in it so that when you go to memorize them, it's easier to memorize and understand. Okay, your last video will just be a couple hints on how best to memorize the unit circle. Thanks.